At the beginning of the movie, a team of scientists is exploring a cave system 1,000 feet below ground. They stumble upon an old cave and are excited about their discovery. However, their joy is short-lived as they begin to hear strange noises emanating from the depths of the cave. Suddenly, they are attacked by bat-like creatures known as Vesps. The Vesps swiftly overpower the team, leaving no survivors. Emerging from the cave, they now pose a threat to the surface world. Meanwhile, we meet Ellie, a young girl who is deaf and communicates with her family using sign language. Despite her disability, Ellie is happy and enjoys dinner with her family. However, their peaceful evening is interrupted by a news report detailing sightings of mysterious bat-like creatures across the United States. The family watches in horror as chaos unfolds on the screen, realizing that their lives are about to change forever. As the chaos and destruction caused by the Vesps continue to escalate, people are advised on TV to stay indoors and remain quiet to avoid attracting the creatures. The news reports also provide tips on how to stay safe from the Vesp's attacks. Faced with the imminent danger, Ellie and her family realize that they must leave their noisy city to have a better chance of survival. They decide to head to the countryside, where there is less human activity and noise. Their neighbor Glenn joins them, armed with a gun for protection against both the Vesps and any other potential threats they may encounter on their journey. As they set out in their cars, they encounter an unknown man who steps in front of their vehicle, brandishing a gun and attempting to steal their car. This encounter adds to the tension and danger of their journey, forcing them to confront not only the Vesps, but also the dangers posed by desperate and dangerous individuals in this chaotic world. As they continue their journey, Glenn is forced to use his gun to defend the family against the armed assailant. They then encounter heavy traffic on the road, prompting Glenn to suggest taking a different route to avoid the congestion. While driving on the alternate route, they encounter a group of deer crossing the road. In an attempt to avoid hitting them, Glenn swerves his car, causing it to veer off the road and crash. The impact of the crash leaves Glenn badly injured, with his foot trapped in the wreckage. Despite their efforts to free him, they are unable to rescue Glenn in time before the Vesps arrive at the scene, drawn by the sound of their dog barking in distress. The family is now faced with the terrifying prospect of being trapped in a vulnerable position with the Vesps closing in on them. The Vesps attack the car. Glenn bravely fires his gun to draw the creatures away from the fact his sacrifice allows the family to escape temporarily, but the Vesps eventually overwhelm him, resulting in his tragic death. The family watches in horror as the Vesps swarm around the car, attracted by the noise. In a desperate attempt to save themselves, Ellie's father makes the difficult decision to release their dog, knowing that its barking will draw the Vesps away from them. Despite Ellie's tears at the loss of their beloved pet, they know it's their only chance for survival. Realizing that they must rely on silence to evade the Vesps, the family takes comfort in the fact that they already communicate using sign language. With renewed determination, they continue their journey on foot, hoping to find safety. Their path leads them to a house surrounded by a tall fence, where they encounter an old woman who emerges with a gun, initially mistaking them for threats. The family pleads for shelter and safety, hoping that the woman will offer them refuge from the relentless threat of the Vesps. After the Vesps attack and kill the old woman, the family decides to take refuge in her now empty house. Ellie's father discovers a drainage pipe outside the house that he believes could provide them with a discreet way to enter and exit the property. As they attempt to use the drainage pipe to move around undetected, Ellie and her brother encounter a venomous snake inside. The presence of the snake blocks their path and poses a new danger to the family's safety. However, the Vesps, attracted by the snake's hissing, swiftly dispatch the reptile. With Ellie's mother now attempting to enter the drainage pipe, the family faces the threat of the Vesps, which can detect even the slightest sound. Ellie's father devises a plan to use a nearby machine to generate noise, distracting the creatures and allowing the family to safely cross the drainage pipe and enter the house. By activating the machine and luring the Vesps away with the sound, the family successfully navigates the drainage pipe and reaches the safety of the house, where they can finally catch their breath and regroup. As Ellie and her father search for antibiotics in the deserted medical store, they are confronted with the grim reality of the Vesps' relentless reproduction. They discover the creatures laying their eggs on the bodies of deceased humans, a chilling sight that emphasizes the urgent need to find a way to stop them. In a moment of fear, Ellie screams, inadvertently alerting the Vesps to their presence. The creatures swarm into the store, threatening the safety of Ellie and her father. In a desperate bid to fend off the creatures and create a distraction, Ellie's father activates the fire alarm, triggering a cascade of water to flow throughout the store. The water serves as both a deterrent to the Vesps and a means of buying precious moments for Ellie and her father to escape. With the creatures momentarily distracted by the chaos, they seize the opportunity to grab the antibiotics they need and flee the store, hoping to return to the safety of their home and tend to Ellie's injured mother before it's too late. As Ellie and her father make their way back home from the medical store, they encounter a mysterious priest whose tongue has been cut, a disturbing sight that adds to the unsettling atmosphere of the apocalyptic world they now inhabit. Despite the priest's invitation to join his group, Ellie's father instinctively refuses, recognizing the potential dangers of aligning with unfamiliar individuals in such uncertain times. Upon returning home, they administer the antibiotics to Ellie's injured mother, providing her with much-needed relief and hope for recovery. Meanwhile, Ellie reconnects with her friend Rob, who shares his own harrowing experiences of loss and survival in the midst of the Vesps' onslaught. Rob reveals that he plans to head north, where a sanctuary has been established for survivors like them. He assures Ellie that it offers safety and comfort, a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak and perilous world. With this newfound information, Ellie must decide whether to stay with her family or embark on a journey to the north in search of sanctuary and a chance at a better life. As Ellie researches online and discovers that the Vesps cannot survive in cold temperatures, she becomes determined to head north where the climate is cold, believing it offers them a better chance of survival. This decision fills the family with a renewed sense of hope as they plan their journey to the north. However, their plans are interrupted when the strange priest reappears, accompanied by a group of followers. Once again, he insists that the family join his group, with a particular interest in Ellie. It becomes clear that the priest sees Ellie as a valuable asset to his group, envisioning himself as a ruler with Ellie at his side. Ellie's father, sensing the danger posed by the priest and his intentions, confronts them with a gun, demanding that they leave their home. Faced with the threat of force, the priest and his group reluctantly depart. But the encounter leaves the family on edge, aware of the dangers posed by other survivors in this post-apocalyptic world. Later that night, the family encounters a lone little girl outside their house. Despite their initial apprehension, they invite her inside, extending kindness and hospitality to a fellow survivor in need. This gesture highlights their humanity and compassion in the face of adversity, even as they remain vigilant against potential threats from others. As the family engages in conversation with the little girl they've welcomed into their home, a sudden cacophony of alarms shatters the peace. The alarms, triggered simultaneously, create a deafening noise that attracts the Vesps, revealing the girl's true allegiance as a member of the priest's group sent to sabotage the family. With the creatures swarming into the house, Ellie's father frantically tries to silence the alarms by submerging them in water, hoping to drown out the noise that attracts the Vesps. Meanwhile, the members of the priest's group attempt to abduct Ellie, intending to use her for their own purposes. In a dramatic turn of events, Ellie's grandmother intervenes, bravely confronting the kidnappers and allowing Ellie to escape. However, her heroism comes at a tragic cost, as she is killed in the ensuing attack by the Vesps. With their home no longer safe, the family is forced to flee, grappling with the loss of Ellie's grandmother and the grim reality of their precarious situation. They must now navigate the treacherous world outside, where danger lurks at every turn in their quest for survival. As the family continues their journey northward, they once again encounter the priest and his group, leading to a fierce confrontation where many members of the group are killed. Ellie's father ultimately defeats the priest, putting an end to their threat once and for all. In the following scenes, the family finally reaches the refuge in the north, where they find safety and join other survivors in rebuilding their lives. Despite the hardships they have faced, they are grateful to have found sanctuary in this new community. In the final scene, Ellie is shown with her friend, armed with a bow and arrow as they hunt down the Vesps. With newfound knowledge and skills, they are able to effectively combat the creatures, symbolizing their resilience and adaptation in the face of adversity.